What is up, family? It's the Budget Basehead. Welcome back to the channel. Right now, what you guys are looking at is the video that I put together for you guys in the name of Shou Sugi Ban. So, what exactly is Shou Sugi Ban? If you guys remember, I put together a teaser video earlier and kind of let you guys see what I had up my sleeves for the past week. I have been working with this new finishing technique, and that's what this video is going to be all about. Kind of walk you through some of the steps that I took in order to get the project on the road. First of all, what exactly is Shou Sugi Ban? So to get a better understanding of what Shou Sugi Ban is, I guess you would have to first dismiss some of the misconceptions by clarifying what it is not. So what do I mean by that? Shou Sugi Ban is not a type of wood that is grown or harvested. It is also not a type of finishing product purchased from a store. It is more so a technique used in finishing a product or a specific type of wood, I should say. And to not have this thing blasting in you guys' ear, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mute this for the most part. I'm just going to kill some of the volume of the video. I don't want it to be blasting you guys' ears. So moving on, Shou Sugi Ban is, for the lack of better words, more so a westernized version of an ancient Japanese wood preservation technique called Yakisugi. Yakisugi is a technique, and I hope I'm saying that right to anyone whose native language that is. If I'm not saying that correctly, I apologize. I don't mean to be chopping up people's languages, but that's what I think it says, Yakisugi. And again, I'm not, just to clarify one thing, I'm not a Shou Sugi Ban expert. I'm not a Yakisugi expert. This is just something that I've been experimenting with. As you guys can see on the screen right now, I do have me a torch, and I'm applying a light burn to this specific piece right here. So, like I said, for lack of a better words, Shou Sugi Ban is a westernized version of the actual ancient Japanese wood preservation technique called Yakisugi. So the Japanese have been using this technique to weatherproof wood by burning it and then applying an oil finish to it. Traditionally, this technique was primarily applied to Japanese red cedar, but as the popularity of this technique grew, most are finding that, almost any species of softwood would do. I myself in this video is actually using pine to get this here going. And as you guys can see, you get some interesting patterns when you apply heat to wood, specifically a softwood such as pine, and it just give you a not a texture in this case. This is just more so of a light burn. This is a more of a surface burn, and what you're getting when you do this is you're actually charring the softer portions of the wood. Softwoods such as this right here, such as pine or fir or cedar, they actually grow pretty quickly. So it's not like a hardwood. Hardwoods grow a lot slower than the softer woods do, and by that nature, they have a more denser characteristics to them, more denser properties when you're talking about the wood grain. As you guys can see here, this pine almost looked tiger striped or zebra striped because of how widespread apart the softwood is from the actual grain, which is that grain that you see flowing throughout the wood is more so of like a sap or something like this knot is made out of right here. It's more of a denser, more concentrated substance within the wood itself, and it does not burn easily. But that wood that is in between those veins of, I call sap, that may not be the proper terminology for it, it burns quite easily. And when you're looking at a surface burn such as this, you get close up on it and you can see that blackness, that darkness is actually that soft wood charring before the actual grain of the wood. And as you can see, the knot right there is not as dark as these other spots on this wood, because the knot is made out of the same thing that the grain of the wood is made out of. It's like a very coarse and sticky, very concentrated glue almost that's within the wood itself. But the overall finish that you get on it is quite beautiful. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. And I think I'm going to be experimenting with this a whole lot more. Like I said, I got a few techniques that I have been playing around with. And just to be, and even though you see on the table here that I do have a stain here, this is called Barn Red. This is a very popular, at one point was very popular with people who actually do Shou Sugi Ban. You can stain the wood and give it a nice clear coat finish, such as this water base that I have right here, and it just gives a beautiful accent to it when you apply color to it. And red is not the only color that you can apply to this and get like a beautiful finish from it. And this is not the only technique. Like I said, this is a very light burn. Later on in the video, I'm going to show you guys exactly what a charred piece, like on the screen now, as you guys can see, this is a more deeper burn than what you've seen previously on screen. What I'm showing you right now are the different brushes that I have been experimenting with. The first one is a copper brush. Some people use a brass brush. It's a softer brush than what you just seen me put on, which was steel wool. That's an old grill brush from my old barbecue grill before I replaced it. And I'm just showing you guys that this burn actually did burn down into that softwood and even charred some of the that's what I call sap, or the grains of the wood. And as you guys can see on screen now, I'm taking light strokes with this softer brush right here. And pretty much what this brush is doing, you wanna brush with the grain, along with the grain, not against the grain. And what that does is it allows the little teeth that's inside of the brush itself to kind of like accent the wood grain itself. It kind of complements the wood grain, and it will leave slight scarring on there. That's why I wanted to show you guys, like, apply a little bit more pressure here than what I was in the previous strokes. And as you guys can see, it does leave a bit more scarring in the grain of the wood, because this is a soft wood. But by this being a soft brush, I guess in terms of sanding, which is kind of like what this is, you can say that this would be more of a higher grit than the steel wool will be, and you will see that in just a minute. But when you're using brushes opposed from an actual sandpaper, what the brushes do is allow you to actually get in between the grain. And here I am with the steel wool right here, and as you guys can see, it's leaving a bit more scarring on the wood than the copper brush was, because that steel wool is very, very strong, and it's gonna dig a little bit deeper into the wood. And depending on exactly what kind of finish you're trying to get out of this, you probably would want this. But some people probably would look at this and be like, well, I want a smoother finish than this. I wouldn't use the steel wool unless it was just for quick cleanup, and then you may want to follow up with a higher grit than what the steel wool constitutes here. And a side-by-side comparison, you can tell that the copper brush didn't leave nearly as much scarring as the steel wood did, because it's just not as strong as that steel wood brush is. So that's pretty much it on the deep burns. I guess I could have shown you guys that, but I did not. What I did, I went ahead and I took a mirror piece of the wood that I showed you guys earlier, the surface burn one, and I just put a deeper char on this piece right here. And yes, as you guys can see, it does have some cupping. That is going to happen, but the payoff for that is what you guys are seeing on screen now. Look at the grooves in the wood right now. Look at that. I mean, if you just think about most wood finishes that you see on like cabinetry and things of that nature, it's like a very flat, a very flat finish. It really doesn't give you that three-dimensional grooves and crevices. And right now what I'm showing you guys on screen is in another type of brush that you can use. It's a circular brush, and this here is 150 grit sander right here, and I just put this in my drill, and I'm gonna get, and like I said, it's a bit of a higher grit. I did brush this entirely beforehand with the copper brush, which was a bit tedious for such a small brush on a large piece such as that, but it got the job done. But I did want to expedite the process somewhat, so I did go out and purchase this guy, and it does a very, very good job. This is actually my first time using it, showing you guys right here on screen. This is actually my first time using this brush and this method right here, and it makes very, very short work of it. It gives it a very much smoother finish in between the grains. It doesn't dig any deeper into the grain. I guess if I would have went ahead and opted out for a smaller grit, say an 80 grit, that would have actually given me opportunity to get even deeper grooves into the wood. But I'm not complaining or anything. To me, this is pretty much what I was looking for, and it's getting the job done exactly as I wanted it to. I still get my contours, and I get a smoother finish. But what I was saying earlier is that most wood finishes that you see on cabinetry and things of that nature is a very flat surface. And even though, that does look good, but you got to think about, why does it look good? It looks good because, for one, or I'm going to say, to me, it looks good because of the finish that is on it. The finish, you can actually see the wood grain on most finishes of any wood furniture or furnishings. You see the wood grain, and it kind of gives you the illusion of depth. It gives you the illusion of texture, when in actuality, if you touch it, it's actually just a flat surface. The same thing can go with photos. Photos are two-dimensional pieces of work. You're looking at it, and you can tell, like, say for instance, a person with a pond or a lake or some object in the background. You can actually look at that photo and tell that there's something in the background. But when you touch that photo is perfectly flat. In this case, it takes it a step further, because with this finish on it now, not only do you get the illusion of depth, not only do you get the illusion of depth and the different crevices are three-dimensional on an overall, you can actually feel it. The texture is actually there. And to me, that is the biggest takeaway with using this method right here. You not only get a chance to look at something that is just beautiful, but to the eyes, but it actually activate an additional sense, which is a sense of touch. And even, to be honest with you, just with the way that it looks here on camera, the camera just does not translate what this looks like in person. And when you guys, when I get through with this, I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison and kind of like give you guys try my best to give you guys a real-world view of, the differences between the two finishes that I've been experimenting with. Like I said, you got a deeper burn and you got a surface burn. And as you guys can see right here, there are actually textured grooves in this work from applying that burn method to this wood. This is absolutely amazing to me. I've never seen anything like this in my life, and I'm definitely going to be using this finish much more in the future. So you guys, if you dig in this, if you like this type of artwork, just stay tuned, because I am going to be doing some more of it. And as I stated previous, here's your side-by-side comparison of the two. And as like I was saying about the flat finish, almost photogenic, the one on the right, it's like a photogenic piece. In many ways, it looks a bit better than the one only, most would say, because of, it keeps most of its geometrical shape. Because of the deeper burn, the deeper burn rounds out your sharp edges, whereas the surface burn, it keeps all that. This is another angle of that. And as you guys can see, the striping from the surface burn is absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, but I'm just more so drawn to the texture of this piece here. It's to me, in my opinion, I don't mean to just keep drooling over it, but it's simply amazing to me. So it kind of is what it is, and I'm glad I stumbled upon this, to be honest with you. And if you guys are wondering exactly what build this is going to, quite a few videos back, I did quite a few posts back, I actually did a post for you guys about, you can find this in my community tab. I did a video about 4 little 4-inch Dayton audio woofers playing free aired, and you guys were I asked you guys, like, what would you want to see me do with these little guys, and a lot of you guys said that a T-line would be would be a good build for them, and this is what that is. This is the 2 T-line towers that I was constructing for those 2 little guys, and I stumbled across this finishing technique, and it's not perfect, as you guys can see there. My centerpiece, I put too much of a burn on it, and it's not perfect, right? But I don't think it's bad for my first go at it, and like I said, I'm still going to be moving forward with this piece by it being my first. I'm not going to throw it away. I'm actually going to use it and just learn from it in the future or whatever. But like I was saying earlier, this technique has actually been used by the Japanese for years, like a long time, like many years, hundreds of years. And traditionally it was primarily applied to Japanese red cedar, but like I was stating, almost any softwood would do, is what we're finding as more and more people delve off into this. And what you guys just seen on the screen was I believe it's a 60 grit. I don't remember exactly what grit of sandpaper it is, but I did want to deepen the grooves a bit more in certain areas, and that's kind of like what I'm doing right now, is like manually just going through and getting some deeper grooves, because the more I played around with this, the more I seen that the texture of it just felt so good underhand, and I was like, well, let me try to see if I can get even more texture out of this, and that's why I manually went in with the sandpaper to see exactly what other results that I can get out of this. And yeah, it turned out pretty cool. But like I said, as of today, I've accumulated quite a bit of footage, and have decided to share this, some of my trials with you guys, and that's pretty much where this here is going. Now, keep in mind that you do not have to actually apply any of that stain and clear coat and all that stuff you seen me with earlier, because the burning of the wood itself actually weatherproof this to some degree, and it actually lasts quite a bit, to be honest with you. So you do not have to go and apply any of those other finishes to it. You can simply apply an oil finish to this, and that'll be good enough for it, to be honest with you. And here's another side-by-side comparison. Once again, on the right as of now is the surface burn, the light burn that I did, and on the left here is the deeper burn. And coming up, what you guys are going to be seeing me do is actually applying a bit of oil to the finish. To this burn, and you guys are going to be seeing exactly what that looks like. Okay, so this is a bit more of the comparison. Just gonna skip through that for you guys. And right now, I think this is me setting up my tripod. and I went and got the oil. Now, one thing I want you guys to understand about, oh, this is not the oil. This is me doing more grinding. I know you guys don't want to see that, so let me just skip on forward. And here we go. So for my oil finish, all I used was what I had around the house. As most of you guys know here on the channel, we do believe in saving a dime. So when I went out and I was looking and shopping around for, wood oils and what people typically use, to me, it got kind of pricey. Some of this stuff was very, very expensive. For only an ounce or so, you're paying upwards of, $15, $20, and I just wasn't about to do that. I said, if you want an oil, I got oil in the kitchen, so that's what I did. I cook with olive oil like religiously. I love olive oil, and that's what I cook with, extra virgin if you want to get specific. And I said, well, let me go and get some olive oil and see exactly what this would do or what that would do for a finishing. Because in passing, I did hear quite a few people using different types of oil, and one person was like, well, he used a vegetable oil. And I was like, well, let me go and do the same exact thing. And so I used the olive oil, and I mean, you can see it for yourself. If you thought it looked good at first, I mean, just look at that. Absolutely amazing, in my opinion. In my opinion, that's absolutely amazing. You get like these transitions of color that just wasn't there at first. And the oil, what it really does is allow the pine, this is yellow pine, it allows its natural color to come out and to just shine through. I mean, it almost looked like liquid gold or something that you're pouring on this thing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, when doing this, I know you guys can't hear my excitement, but I was astonished. I mean, I didn't expect it to even look like this, to be honest with you. I mean, I put like clear coat finishes on stuff in the past, but to see an oil just, I mean, look at that. You got like contrasts from what is almost a black to like this brown golden, like it's just a beautiful, beautiful color. Beautiful, beautiful color. So some of you guys are probably wondering, like, well, what is the differences between a softwood and a hardwood, and why would most people, prefer to use a softwood with this? Well, some of the differences between a hardwood and softwoods, in general, hardwoods come from, I believe it's called a deciduous tree or something of that nature, which loses its leaf annually, right? These are the ones where, when the fall time comes, the leaves change colors, the leaves fall to the ground, they change this brown yellow color, and they do that annually. Whereas softwoods come from the conifer family, I believe, which is usually remain green all year round, which is why they're called evergreens. And yes, pine is one of those type of woods. Hardwoods tend to be slow in growth and are therefore a lot denser with tightly gathered grains. Softwoods, on the other hand, as I mentioned before, are a lot less denser, which is why you can see in the video right now, the grains of wood is spread apart, like wide apart. You got plenty of spacing in between the grains, and to me, that is what accent the technique a lot more, because for one, in between those grains, you have that softer wood, which is easier to burn, and as it burns, it leaves the grain, which is a lot coarser, just standing a lot taller, and that's where all of the texture come from. And to me, that's what makes it very, very beautiful, and maybe that's why others have decided to use a softer wood other than a hardwood as well. Because if you think of some of your hardwoods like oak, the grains are so close together that if you burn that, it's not really, it doesn't really have that softer wood to like dig into and give you that three-dimensional texture that you're looking for. So you're not gonna get the results that you're seeing on screen right now with something like a oak or maple. You're not gonna see that. You're not gonna get these results. But with the softer woods growing so quickly, it leaves a lot of space in between those hard grains, and it allows you to dig into them and give you these types of results. It's just beautiful. It is absolutely amazing. But enough of that. I know you guys are tired of hearing me saying that, but it is what it is. So once I finished with that piece, I thought to myself, well, what would this look like on the surface burn? I already know that I'm not going to get that same texture that I got with the deeper burn, but I still wanted to see exactly what this would look like. And keep in mind, the dark areas here on this piece is the complete opposite of what you see on the other piece. On the other piece, the darker portions of it is actually the grain itself being dark or having been burned. On this one right here, it's the reverse. It's the softer wood that has actually been burned. And you don't have to sand this, because if you actually sand it, you'll sand away what you actually charred. But what I found when I did apply the finish to this is that I had to like really, this kind of brought full circle of what the Shou Sugi Ban technique actually does. If you look at this as I'm wiping this on, the wood is pretty much soaking it up quicker than I can even put this stuff on. The wood is still thirsty. So why is it still thirsty? It's still thirsty because it's still porous. It's still very porous at this point, more so than the burnt surface of the other piece. So why am I pointing this out right now? Because the whole point of Shou Sugi Ban is to weatherproof the surface of the wood. So if you're gonna make a roof out of this, or you're gonna make the siding of a building or something out of this, you don't want it to have this porous nature to it. So you want to put a deeper burn on it. You see that? It's already dry in many spaces, and the only glistening that you can actually see is where it was a little bit more concentrated on some of the sap pieces. This thing is still sucking up oil like crazy, but it still looks good. I still like the way that the yellow is actually shining through a bit more, and yeah, that may have to do a little bit with the oil itself having a tint to it, but for the most part, this is just the natural characteristics of a yellow pine. I mean, it's called yellow pine for a reason, and this is pretty much what you're seeing. This wood is no longer dried out. It has now absorbed something, and it can actually show through. It's not dried out. It's not an ashy dry anymore. And it's very, very thirsty, as I stated before. Now, this piece right here is what I actually opted to go with on the transmission line. This is one that I did a deeper burn on, as you guys can tell. This is one of a deeper burn. And it actually is a thicker piece of wood as well. Like I said, I'm sharing this stuff with you to actually let you guys see like what was some of my trials and what I learned from it. I learned earlier that the wood was too thin, and that's why I had so many issues with cupping, the wood warping and bending, because for one, I wasn't treating the wood with water in between the burns. I was letting it sit. And of course, if you just burn a piece of wood like that, you're gonna have that issue. But the thicker the wood is, the better it is able to handle the high heat. So you have less cupping. And in this piece right here, I didn't actually show you guys the char and the brushing of it, but I did want to share with you guys the oil of it. And I wanted to kind of get a closer look at the oil of this piece than I did with the last piece. So what I did is I took the camera off the tripod, and hopefully this is not too shaky for some of you guys. If you guys don't like that, you may want to just skip through this piece. But I kind of wanted you guys to see exactly what this looked like up close, and I wanted to kind of like hit it at an angle that I was actually getting it at, and kind of just let you guys see the transformation. Look at how it went from this ashy brown or tan to this golden. It's just amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Like when you apply the oil to it, you get like this fiery finish to it. It's almost as though it's trying to translate like what created it, which was the flame, right? And it's kind of like what you're getting through this, like this fiery array of colors that just pop through. And I did improve my brush technique somewhat on this piece right here, and it got the grooves. The grooves in this one here is a lot more pronounced than in the previous pieces that I did. But keep in mind, I'm not throwing away the other pieces. They're actually going to go on a build. It's just that I just wanted to improve upon it, and so I redid it and came with this finish right here. And man, that is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I can't believe I've been dealing with wood this long and I never heard of this. Never heard of this technique before in my life. But there it is. There it is. Look at that. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. It still doesn't capture this 4K video. Still does not capture what this thing looks like in real life. It just does not. Because what I'm trying to do is give you guys a close-up view of, you know, what this thing looked like in terms of depth, right? It has texture. It has crevices. It has, you know, little nooks and crannies in there that you can actually touch. And you don't get splinters or anything from it. It's a smooth texture from all the sanding and stuff. And I just wanted to kind of like share that with you guys. And I know some of this camera work is not my best, but I'm one-handing this thing. And I'm so excited about what I'm looking at that, I'm giving you guys a bit of a shake right here. My apologies on that. But just look at that, man. So let's discuss a little bit of the Shou Sugi Ban, and look at that. I can't even talk just looking at it. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. But anyway, so Shou Sugi Ban, as stated before, is actually supposed to be a weatherproofing technique for the wood. So basically, once you burn it, one step that I did not show you guys were the washing of it. So you would burn it like a deep char. Then you would take your brush and you would brush it off, right, with whatever brush you choose to use. And then you would wash it. You would actually take water and you would wash the dust and stuff off of it. And even in the water wash is beautiful because, of course, it becomes wet and you kind of like see what you're seeing now, like with the oil finish, all these colors just popping out at you. And it's quite a show. And but the oil just take it to a whole nother level. And what this is supposed to be doing is, you know, allowing the wood to be preserved for like hundreds and hundreds of years. I think it's the actual story of, you know, some Japanese structures that's been around. I want to say 1,000 years or better is what was said. I probably shouldn't have stated that because I don't have it in front of me right now. But I think that is what was said. Like this technique would last you thousands and thousands of years if you. I shouldn't say thousands and thousands. It'll last you a very long time. It'll last you a long time if you take care of it. So basically, oiling this and putting it on the side of your home or your roof one time is not gonna do it. You have to periodically go and apply the finish to it again, but it's very far in between is what I've read. The exact years that was stated, I can't remember that, but there you guys go, man. It's beautiful, just beautiful finish right here. Moving on. And this is from the teaser video right here. This is me outside. I was in the process of painting the box itself, but I said, man, you know what? Let me get a dry fit going and just, share this with you guys and just get a quick video of it. And that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. As you guys can see, this is not one piece. The tweeter doesn't even have screws in it for crying out loud. So all this is just dry fitted, which is why it's on its back. And I just wanted to kind of like give you guys an appreciation, like show you guys my appreciation of this, and just look at this, and to me it's just beautiful. I don't know. I know I keep saying that. You guys are probably tired of me saying that, but just know that I'm going to be using this technique in some upcoming builds, and hopefully you guys like it. It's going to be something that I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be experimenting also with different colors. Keep in mind that I did not use any coloring, no dyes, no stains or anything. This is the natural pine doing its thing. This is not a clear coat finish. This is not any of that. This is just what you guys seen. Extra virgin olive oil is basically what this is. I put a matte black finish on the box itself, and I gave it a contour shape at the bottom. It was looking a bit boring is the reason why I did that. I may go back and put some more angles to this, but as of right now I'm pleased with it. I think it looks pretty good, looks pretty cool, and I just wanted to share it with you guys and let you see exactly what's been going on with this. So as of right now, what I want to know from you guys is this something that you guys would consider doing for a build of your own? Is this something that you had even heard of prior to me doing the video? Have you ever seen an enclosure with the finish such as this? To be honest with you, I hadn't. And that's the reason why I wanted to go ahead and put it out, because I wanted to kind of like get the conversation going and see like what ideas do you guys have for an upcoming build such as this. Like what are some of you guys thoughts on this? Like what does this do for you? Is this something that you guys would actually incorporate in a build? What ideas would you guys have, other than like this is a T-line enclosure. You guys know transmission lines get pretty huge. They're pretty big enclosures. So it takes up a lot of space. I'm definitely going to do some desktops for this. I gotta redo some desktops. Right now what's sitting on my desktop are the MK402s, which these little woofers are housed in. But I'm gonna be, and it's a powered Bluetooth pair. I'm gonna be redoing these guys. I may just rebuild them back to spec as to what they are, and just put this finish on them and just be done with it, because they're built pretty good as they are, but they don't look like this. They don't, and I do wanna get some different colors in here. So what colors do you guys suggest? What would you like to see? Maybe some green, some blue, put some reds in there. What other type of softwoods could we play around with, right? I mean, we got cypress, we got fir, we got all that stuff, right? But anyway, this is it for right now. I'm gonna let you guys get back to it, and until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. For all the new guys out there, if this is something that you guys are really into, let me know and get subscribed. Just get subscribed to the channel. If you like this video, we're going to have more of these videos up and coming. But until next time, it's your boy D, and I'm out.